Hello, everyone, and welcome to Daily Grace with Pastor James. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode. Today, we're going to be looking at God's presence in the midst of trial. Do you believe that in every trial that you go through, that the Lord is there? I want to tell you that whatever you're going through now, as a trial, as a challenge, that the Lord is there, if only you can hold on to His words. In Isaiah 43, verse 2, it says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." When you look at the world today, it is filled with challenges. It is filled with trials. It is filled with uncertainty. And I'm sure that most of us listening to this are going through one of those things. We all have seasons in our lives where we feel as if we're in deep waters, season in our lives where we feel as if we are getting the heat of the fire, situations that feel overwhelming in our lives. But God, in His infinite love and mercy, has given us a profound promise. And that is the promise that we have read in Isaiah 43, verse 2, reminding us that no matter what we are going through in life, and I repeat, no matter what we are going through in life, He is with us. God is with you. God is with me in everything. You see, when you look at that passage, the passage is not just about the promise of protection. It is a declaration that God's ever-present help in times of trouble is with us. So we just want to take some few points about those three things that we read in Isaiah 43. Waters, rivers, and fire. What do they mean? What do they stand for? God's presence in the midst of the water. It says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you look at water, water symbolizes overwhelming circumstances in our lives that we face, situations that make us feel as if we are drowning. The pain, the confusion in our lives. Sometimes this could be as a result of when we lose a loved one, when we are in financial hardship, or when we have a broken relationships. All these things can be termed you passing through waters that is overwhelming you. But listen, here is the key. God did not say if. What He said is when. In other words, it is inevitable. We all go through challenges. We all go through situations. But He is promising us that when you go through it, He will be with you. Trials are inevitable, but God's presence is also with us. Remember the example of the Egyptians when they left Egypt and they got to the Red Sea. The Red Sea was right in front of them. They were still thinking of how they are going to pass through the Red Sea. And then when they looked behind them, they saw the Egyptian chariots. And so they were confused. But God showed up for them. As you are in deep waters right now, wherever it is, take heart. God is with you. He has promised that the water will not overwhelm you. And then the second thing He talked about is the rivers. God's power is always in a flowing river. He said, when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. Rivers represent strong current, fast-moving situations. Do we get that in life? Yes, we get that every single day. And it seems that we want to be carried away by the wave. Rivers are dangerous. But then we have a God who is more than able. These rivers that we're talking about might just be unexpected challenges that just drop at you. Sudden changes or overwhelming responsibilities that has just been dropped on you. And in this moment, it's easy to feel as if you are losing control of everything, control of the world, control of yourself. But God has promised that the rivers will not sweep over you. Remember again the Israelites in Joshua 3. Can you recall that? When they got to River Jordan, they couldn't pass. They wanted to do it by their strength, but they couldn't. And then when the prophets with the ark of God stepped into the water stopped flowing and they were able to pass through the dry ground. Are you facing a season where it feels like it's a spiraling situation, spiraling out of control? Remember that the river will not sweep you away. God is more than powerful than any wave in the rivers that you are facing now. And then the third one is the fire. God protects us when we're in fire. He said, when you walk through the fire, you will not be burnt. The flames will not set you ablaze. The fire represents intense trials. And we'll go through intense trials, intense situations that are unbearable for some of us. Fiery fires of persecution that we face every day, suffering, severe testing of our faith. But God has promised that even when you walk through the fires, He said it will not burn you. He said He will be with you. Again, there's an example in the Bible. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in Daniel 3. Everyone thought that the fire is going to burn them, but it didn't. Rather, they saw a surprising thing, which was a fourth man in the fire, and that is Jesus. And Jesus is always there with you, whether you like it or not. He's going to be there in the fire that you are going through. But I'm sure one of the questions that people will be asking, listening to this, is if God is able to save us, why is it allowing us to go through all this in the first place? He would have just let it be. So why is the Lord allowing us to go through this when we pass through the waters, the rivers, and the fire, and that He is with us? That's a good question. And Isaiah 43 verse 1 tells us, it says, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine." We are all God's property. He has that ownership and He has that love. And the reason why the Lord is allowing us to go through this, just three key reasons. The first one is He wants to test our faith. The second thing is He wants to build our character. And the third thing is He wants to strengthen our reliance on Him. When you are going through challenges, that is when you rely on God. That's when you depend on God. So these are the three key things that the Lord is using to ensure that we go through these things, but then His presence is there with us. His grace is more than sufficient for us and is always there for us. Trials brings us close to the Lord. Romans 8:28 says, "All things work together for good for those who love God." If you love God, God is there with you and He works everything together for your good. Thank you so much for listening to me in this episode. Once again, my name is Pastor James Egodibe and I pastor RCCG, Solid Rock Parish, Derby, 55 Woods Lane, DE 223UD. If you are looking for a Bible-believing church, we have wonderful brethren who will welcome you with an open arms. And if this has actually blessed you, why not share it with others so that they can also be blessed? Thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.